Hi, welcome to Truth of Tal and Isaac. I'm Tal.
I'm Isaac.
Episode number 83 coming at you tonight. Big 83, best of all time. We've got Andre Reed from the Bills, Hall of Famer, and Willie Gault, who played for the Bears, who was lightning.
0 for 2 on knowing either of those old heads.
That's okay.
Okay.
Talk about top NBA favorite players. Mine's an all-time list. Youngblood here has got a present-day list.
Yeah.
And then we'll chat a little about the Detroit Lions.
I just want to say this is going to be a very positive episode.
Very positive.
Last week, we had some negativity, had some Kyrie stuff. This is going to be almost as positive as Magic Johnson, with all due respect. Okay, keep it moving.
Okay, keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Get it?
Yeah, I do. Okay. Michigan football team. They just keep winning, running the ball, playing D. Obviously, we need JJ to hit some deep passes against Ohio State. What do you think about that? Can we talk about that yet? Or is it too early?
It's too early. I don't want to get my mind,
Okay.
Illinois.
Let's beat Illinois this Saturday.
Beat Illinois, and then we'll talk later.
Okay. Cade injured for a week or so.
That's okay. I'll talk about him later.
That's okay. Listen, we love Cade. He's great. It's okay for him to take a few days off. It gets opportunity for Ivy to play some point, which I like. Killian is playing well. Listen, I'm sorry. Killian has to play well for months in order to win back some faith, at least from this team.
Okay. Not a Pistons episode. We're not getting into it.
Okay.
So, because I'll just get fired up.
Al Burks look pretty good.
That's my guy. Burks look really
Oh
good.
man, he's looking good.
And I've seen a lot of Pistons games in person. We'll do some analysis later.
Yep.
But lots of fun. Going to see a bunch of games later in November, December.
Speaking of in-game basketball, Michigan basketball Friday night. You want to chat a little bit about that?
Boots on the ground. Me and Al, my boy. Recurring
Shout out Al.
Yeah, recurring podcast guest Al. We're going to have him on for, I think, both the NBA draft and the NFL draft, because he's very educated.
Okay.
And he will educate us. We went to the Michigan game, got in for a very good price, good in terms of our cheap standards, and sat. And
Did you actually have a seat?
We had seats.
That's positive.
I think we
step forward.
I think we scalped.
You didn't sit in them. You didn't sit in them, but that's okay.
We scalped for I think $20 to watch Michigan basketball versus Amani Bates, who I'm still having nightmares from, because man, that kid is an absolute punk. But whoa, that's a bucket. He
can play. He's a bucket.
Bag, very deep bag.
Did he play any defense, or was that
a little bit?
Really?
A little bit. Yeah, when he got mad, he played some.
Was he playing against Jet? Who was he checking?
It was a lot of Jet. Actually.
Okay.
Really good game. Sat in the lower bowl. It was awesome. Good fans. Great atmosphere.
Listen, I like Michigan basketball. I like Jawan. Is there any chance he could recruit a good point guard? That would be good. This
may not age well. There's a super awesome 5-star guy who has his options down to I think USC and Michigan.
Really?
Yeah, he's a 5-star. I think he's announcing his commitment Wednesday. So tomorrow, depending on maybe, I don't know when this is going out. So we won't talk about it, but maybe good things coming for Michigan basketball.
Good.
Okay.
So those people that watch video of us online, you can see that our normal attire is a suit jacket and baseball cap on backwards. I went to the opening night of Windsor's new city council. Mayor Dilkins had a nice little speech. So congratulations to everybody. And actually had a chat with Councillor Kieran McKenzie. He's a fan. He's a big basketball fan.
Respect.
Yeah. So he asked me right away, okay, how many Pistons in your top 10?
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So respect for Kieran. You get that.
That's sweet. I only have one Piston because my whole list, I could have 7 Pistons. Sorry, Counselor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I worked some Pistons in.
Okay.
But, here's the secret.
Okay, we're not on the list yet.
No, I can say Isaiah's not my top 10.
I'm not surprised. And we'll talk about that later because there's going to be some casuals that don't get that. We'll explain later, though.
Yep.
Okay. More off the tops that you have.
That's it.
Okay, real quick. Black Panther 2. I saw Black Panther 2. It's really, really, really good. It's not for everybody. I understand that. There's going to be people that don't like it. I think
why not? Who doesn't like it?
It's tough to talk about why people don't like it without completely spoiling big plot reveals.
Okay.
It's really good. It's 2 hours and 41 minutes, so it's going to take Tal about 8 months to watch it.
It's a long time.
Maybe over. I have to talk to Vegas.
What if we did a 6 a.m. viewing? If there was
down.
a 6 a.m. viewing, I could stay up for that.
So at the mall, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, so the 13-year-olds that are bagging popcorn are going to get up at 6 a.m. to let you in to fall asleep during Black Panther.
No. I'd stay up at 6 a.m.
You stay woke? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Black Panther 2, really, really good. I'm probably going to see it again with more buddies. But excellent. Not for everybody, but I enjoyed it a lot. UFC 281. Another great UFC
Oh,
card.
you sent me. See, this is the best way for me to watch UFC. I get highlights from him. It's perfect.
Well, because it ends at 1:30.
That like sleeper hold thing. That was pretty good.
Great UFC card. The next one isn't great, and then I'm going to another UFC in the summer, so that'll be cool. Good job, UFC, as always.
Good job.
I'm not going to say the comments, but I am going to say the people should look up what Terry Bradshaw said.
Oh my gosh.
We won't talk. Just look it up. And then, did you hear what Tim Hardaway said last night?
I read a brief headline about it.
It's not a good thing. He said got in trouble, then had to apologize
has
on air.
Had some anti-gay stuff in the past, right?
Yeah, which is why I'm a little surprised.
Is this a follow-up? The similar theme? Or
No, very different.
Just tell me the topic. Who was which oppressed group did he piss off?
No, what rape victims?
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So here's actually the story. I won't say what happened. I was watching the game on mute as I was doing work. Okay. And I saw it had like a Run TMC watermark on the TV.
Name Run TMC.
Well, I Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullen. So
Very
don't
good.
sleep on me.
Good job.
And then it cuts to the booth, and it shows Run TMC calling the game. I'm like, that's great that the three of them are calling the game. Again, I had it on mute, so I had no idea. But I'm like, I don't know if that's the best idea. A couple minutes later, I opened Twitter. I'm like, oh, I just saw that play. And then I listened to the audio, and I heard the audio. Not great. Okay, that aside, Justin Jefferson. We're not going to really talk about him.
Oof.
Offensive Player of the Year, right? Like,
I think so, because Offensive Player of the Year is generally not a quarterback, because the quarterbacks are the MVP guys. So who's in the running for Offensive Player of the Year? Well, Cooper Kupp. Nope, he's out. Mm-hmm. Stephon Diggs. He's dinged up a little bit, but he was dinged up a little bit earlier, but he's solid.
Right now, it's Jefferson.
Chase.
Jefferson's the front runner.
Super dinged up. Jefferson's a beast.
And then there's Tyreek Hill, who's 2 and right on his tail.
I forgot about him.
So just really quick before we move on, I placed a $5 bet on Justin Jefferson for Offensive Player of the Year in the offseason. I got it at 16-1, so plus 1,600. So that bet would return 85 theoretical dollars. If you were to place a $5 bet now, it's like 2.5-1. He's the front runner. You're returning like $17 or something.
85 credits.
So no, not that. So I'm just saying, Vegas is telling me to cash out. I'm gonna let it ride.
Let it ride.
Jefferson, Offensive Player of the Year. We're going for it.
And Cousins is throwing him the ball.
Who apparently is cool now. Again.
He's cool now. Like everybody in Minnesota thought he was devil reincarnation because he couldn't win the big game and he had some turnovers. Now he's the man.
Well, he hasn't won the big game yet, but that's fine. Lions talk.
Lions talk.
7:43. Go ahead. Educate the folk.
So here's our debate about the Lions. Here's our discussion. Here's our drama. We want them to win. We desperately want them to win. We've been big fans for a long time. I've been a fan for a long time. I've seen one playoff game, one playoff victory in my life.
91.
Yeah, against Dallas. And they destroyed Dallas. Man, they were so good.
And what was the talk
after? The talk was, okay, who's going to be the team the next decade? Is it going to be Detroit or is it going to be Dallas? Detroit, I'm not sure if you know, pooped. Dallas won 3 championships.
Uh-huh. Super Bowls, because the Lions got some championships. That's the difference.
That's true.
We got
Super
some
Bowls.
from the
50s. 3 bowls.
Okay.
Not the Mega Bowl. Super Bowls.
Good call.
Okay, so the question is, are they helping or hurting themselves? And you can have arguments on the other side. I actually think they are helping themselves because that losing culture thing, it can really hurt your franchise. And obviously, the franchise history has been bad. But these guys don't know, right? Like Amon-Ra St. Brown and
who's
Aiden
with us
Hutchinson.
today in studio, by the way.
Hey, Amon-Ra, thanks for joining us. I know you're a little dinged up, but thanks for joining us today. These guys need to win. And so, big deal. We thought they were going to win 2 or 3 games. Well, initially at the beginning of the season, we thought they were going to win 7.
Yeah.
6 or 7 is what we said.
I think I said 7. You said 6.
And I think I said 6.
Yeah.
6 is probably looking like high right now. It's probably 5. 5 games is what they win. I'm okay with them winning 5 games. That means that they will not be picking in the top 3. They won't for sure be able to get Stroud or Bryce Young. But they need to get a winning culture. Thankfully, the Rams are pooping. So the Lions are going to have 2 picks in the top 11 or 12. Those 2 picks somehow need to turn into the quarterback for the next decade.
And so I have a lot. We didn't really discuss what we're going to talk about the Lions. We just kind of had an empty slate, respectfully, and it was like, all right, side with the Lions a bit. So that's what we'll do. We'll talk about the draft.
I've got 3 or 4 other points about it, but go ahead.
Probably all wrong. So you talked about the draft. Currently, the Rams pick is 8th overall. Mm-hmm. That's hilarious.
It's awesome.
Lions pick is 11th overall currently. Now, I expect those to kind of come back to earth a bit. I think the Rams will win a couple games. Call me crazy. I think they'll win a couple games. And
I don't think the Lions are going to win very many more games.
Well, yeah, they have 3 wins currently. If you have them at 5, that would be 2 wins, right?
Yep.
I did that math good. So you talked about the quarterback. I had a good conversation with some buddies today. We'll get to them later. If I'm picking 8 and 11, let's say that stays the same. I don't want to pick a quarterback at 8 or 11. There's a track record of quarterbacks that go after the first little bit and then they go in this range that aren't very good, right? One that's staring at me in the face is Mac Jones. Justin Fields was also picked, I think, maybe 11. And I like Justin Fields a lot.
Maybe 10.
Yeah, he was because he's a trade up, right? But I like Fields a lot. But again, he was the fourth. He was the 4th QB taken in that class.
Yep.
And I don't want the 4th QB of this class.
Yeah,
I would rather
Young and Stroud are going to be picked real soon. They'll be picked
1 and 2.
1 and 2, maybe 3. But I think Willie Anderson is going to have to eat people up over the.
I don't think anyone calls him Willie. I think it's just Will Anderson.
Well, I call him Willie.
Okay. Also, can we talk the LSU freshman that had like 6 sacks?
Oh yeah, Perkins.
Let's just say right now, whatever day it is, it's November 15th. Perkins Jr. on LSU is just going to dominate the NFL for the next 20 years. Look him up if you don't know what we're talking about.
If the Lions are in position to draft Perkins in 2 years,
Go nuts.
bad things have happened.
We'll go nuts. That'll be
We will go nuts, but...
So, yeah, back to the drafts. 8 and 11. I want the 2 best defense players available, right? Like Keely Ringo or Keeli, whoever that guy, the cornerback.
Georgia's beast.
He's in that range. Georgia's got a couple.
Carter, the other defensive
Yeah.
tackle from
Georgia.
Clemson, Georgia.
There's a Georgia one. There's a Clemson D tackle as well. I want the 2 best defensive prospects at 8 and 11. I don't want one of these tight ends.
No, if they pick a tight end in the first round, one of the mocks has them in the first round. Somebody on Twitter
I saw a couple. I saw
losing their mind.
I saw the
Dude from
6'7"
Notre
kid.
Dame.
The 6'7" guy. Saw the Chiefs taking him in like the late 20s, just because like why not run Twin Towers with him and Kelsey?
Yep.
Kind of awesome. But
Listen,
I
if
don't
you're
want
at KC, late 20s, that makes a lot of sense.
Or you pick a running back or something along those lines. Yeah, same with Buffalo. Like those kind of win now awesome teams that the Lions respectfully aren't.
No.
So at 8 and 11. If we're in that range, I just want 2 defensive guys. If one of these picks goes up and we can get an elite quarterback, a can't-miss quarterback, then I will capitalize. If not, I am fine with Goff for another year. I am fine with just maybe not even calling, maybe just sending a little text to the Ravens inquiring about one Lamar Jackson. Just a little text, okay? Maybe not even text. Maybe like a LinkedIn message.
So
just inquire about
97-1 dudes were talking about it. Here's the one guy's thought on what it's going to cost for Lamar. 3 first-round picks and $300 million. That's too much.
Well, that's assuming that we have to trade for him.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance that he doesn't take a
No, they're
contract.
going to franchise him next year. And then they're going to franchise him the year after that, 2 years in a row. And then they'll probably dump him because once Lamar Jackson goes from being a 4-3 guy to a 4-5 guy, he's just average.
Oh, it's an interesting take there. Yeah, and then you talk about the like when I watch Justin Fields run circles around the Lions defense, I want a guy who can run. I want that guy, right?
Yep.
And Lamar is more than that guy.
He runs away from cornerbacks.
Yeah, he is a run first guy. Whereas Fields is a run first guy, but he looks like a running back. Down the field, he looks like a running back.
Well, Jackson can also throw. Fields cannot really throw.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do like Lamar. I would like to inquire about him, but I don't want to get one of these okay QBs at 12th overall.
Like Booker, Richardson.
Or Levis, the
dudes.
Kentucky guy. I don't want it unless it's one of these studs. Okay, so that's enough QB stuff. Let's talk about this past draft class.
Okay. Well, let's talk about their D. Aiden Hutchinson.
Thank you.
The off-the-top rope wrestling move. That was a beast. He has had some signature plays this year. Right? Like, awesome.
So I shout out Mark, because I said, Mark, hey, I'm talking about this big buddy of mine, big Lions fan. I'm like, Mark, I'm talking about the Lions. And then he's just like, Hutch Masterclass. That's all he said. So we need to talk about the Hutch Masterclass. The goal line play was one of the freakish athletic plays by a D-end I've seen in a long time. Probably the best athletic play from a defensive lineman for the Lions. Where I can't remember, right? Like,
yep.
Ziggy maybe had a couple good plays
Ziggy
6
had a
years
couple
ago.
good plays.
Sue just stomped on dudes.
Robert Porsche was good, but that was about 20 years ago.
I was going to say, yeah, that's a little before my watching.
Yep.
Hutch had 8 tackles, a sack. That Okuda pick 6. Credit Okuda. Hutch did force the pick.
Yep.
Right? And if you compare Hutch with other rookies of this draft class, I don't know if you've looked at any of their numbers.
Yeah, Tavon Walker, who's like, an athletic marvel, has 2 sacks.
Who? What Walker?
Like Tavon?
Trayvon. There's an R.
Trayvon. There was the guy Trayvon who was killed. That was a big social justice thing.
Not sure what you're
Tell you
referring
what,
to.
let's move on.
Not sure what that is.
Let's move on.
Kayvon Thibodeau. Hutch has been far better than Thibodeau, and Thibodeau's been pretty good. Karlaftis, George.
Purdue guy or something. Yep.
Purdue, he's been quite good, but Hutch has far and away been the best pass rusher.
Yeah.
Only issue is Sauce Gardner.
Sauce is a beast.
Is
he's a
rookie.
freak.
And it's not even close.
And that's okay.
So the playoffs. Can we say the P word? Can we talk about it just for fun, please?
No.
We can't even for fun, bro.
Nope. For
fun?
No.
Okay, fine.
But I think we can talk about the Lions' rookie draft class.
What about the W word? Wild card. Yes.
Is there a playing game?
Playing game.
Is there a playing game?
All I'm saying is Cardinals lose some games, Falcons lose some games, Packers lose some games, Commanders lose some games. They're there.
I think they're only a game and a half out of the wild card.
When I go on to NFC playoff picture and I see in the hunt, I see Lions logo. That's all. That's just a fact. That's all I know, folks. Okay?
And that's our win, right? Like
seriously,
like
you're right.
The Tigers. What do you want? Meaningful games in September
or October?
No.
Okay.
That's getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
You want meaningful games in September. The Lions, you want meaningful games in December.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's likely to happen this year.
January, because you got the extra week now. So
again, January, that's not realistic. We're not there yet.
Okay, sorry, bro.
We will get there. I promise you. Like, you'll have gray in your beard, but that's okay. We're going to get there.
Okay.
My beard is just going to be like hanging down to my knees.
Bro, here's the deal. They are in the hunt. That's a fact. They are in the hunt. I don't expect them to make the playoffs, but this is a nice week of in the hunt conversation.
It's a nice week.
It's a good week. Can we talk about the Hockenson trade, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I was a big fan of the trade. I think you were quite a big fan.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the trade too.
And then there was one segment of Lions fans that were like, "This is the worst thing ever." Then there's a segment that was like, "I really like Hawk, but I get the trade." And then there's the segment I was in where it was like, "This is huge. This is a great trade."
Yep.
And the only attachment I have to TJ Hockenson is having a great interaction with
his dad,
with his father,
his dad,
Todd Hockenson.
Todd,
who's my guy. Shout out Todd.
Todd Hockenson. Love you, bro.
Love you, bro.
We should try and get Todd on the pod.
Okay, we're not getting Todd on. Well, he's not going to be at games anymore, so I won't be able to see him. Here's the deal. The Hockenson trade, James Mitchell, Brock Wright, Shane Zylstra. These guys combined, they have 3 touchdowns over the past 2 games. So awesome. When you talk about Hockenson and different... Look, this is Moneyball. This is the Billy Bean thing here. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, you lost X player, he had an on-base percentage of .345. We're just going to get 3
So we need to replace
dudes.
them with 3 dudes who can do part of what he did. Like, Hawk was not a very good blocker.
Correct.
These guys are not great blockers, but they're okay. They can fill up some space. They can make a quick little turn and catch a touchdown pass.
I assume Brock Wright can block.
I would hope so.
I think he is. I know Mitchell can't really. And Zylstra's a practice squad guy, so not really sure.
And guess what? Right now, Goff can't throw the ball down the field anyways.
Good point.
So you don't need that deep seam guy.
And look, I like the tight end trade a lot. The Hawkins trade is going to look great. Even when Hockenson, he's going to have that 150-yard 2-touchdown game. It'll happen. But I don't care. This is a good trade for the Lions in the long run. This is a really good move by Holmes. What else do you have here?
Just a couple more shout-outs to the rookie guys. Joseph, Josh Pascal, Malcolm Rodriguez, Sawyer dinged up. Amon Ross, he's a freaking beast. Like, he's so tough. He's so determined. Like, I know Detroit has warmed up to him, but over the coming years, he's going to be one of those guys who's a representative of your team and a representative of your city. He's a Ben Wallace, going to work kind of guy. And I love the fact that they've got Jameson Williams, who's just going to open things up because he's a fireball,
okay,
man.
You stole that. I had that line last.
Man, I'm getting excited about him.
Good.
Now, my only question is, do you play him in December just to play him? Probably not.
Oh, they going to run him out there. He's going to play. He will play.
Okay, so you're 4-10.
We're running them out there just to put the
You're
NFC North.
4-10.
We're 4-10. We're putting the NFC North on watch saying, hey guys, just to go for JMO. That's all we're saying.
Okay, so this is a Nick Basic move.
Okay,
right? So
explain.
Nick Basic is
This
the
is such an obscure reference.
Oh, this is an obscure reference. So what happens is Nick Basic is the coach of the Holy Names junior teams. And give shout out to Holy Names junior and senior girls.
Good job.
They won both. Boom. Sit down, low back.
Okay.
Okay, so what Coach Basic did, there's a minute left in the last game of the regular season. St. Anne's, Holy Names playing each other. He calls the girls over and said, okay, we're going to run a 2-on-2 defense the last little bit. They've never run a 2-on-2 defense in practice before. They run a 2-on-2 defense. They actually did okay. The end of the season, to prep him for the playoffs. He's like, we're not going to run that 2-on-2 in the playoffs. I just want to plant the seeds in the other coach's mind to say, you're going to have to prepare for this. So your theory is you're going to run Jameson Williams out in December to make all the NFC North teams plan, strategize, have to allocate extra practice time to play for him.
That might take the 2-minute crown of unnecessary monologues.
Yeah, we are all stupid for having listened to that.
Every word of what you said was actually, it's right here. It's right. Look, they're going to put J-Mo out there just to run a couple routes at the NFL level. Just a couple throw him out at Ford
I do
Field.
want to see him. I really want to see him.
Where, right? Like Ford Field.
Give a love to the fans.
That
Like
place is
65,000 people are showing up.
The place is going to go nuts. Ford Field is going to go nuts when this guy goes out there. And he's going to be really good. So let's see.
Don't put him on special teams.
Oh, we're fine, bro. Come
Okay.
on. I am rooting against two groups of teams, and unfortunately it's about half of the league. I'm rooting against the fringe wildcard teams. The Cardinals, the Falcons, the Packers, the Commanders. And then I'm rooting against the bottom feeders, like the Texans and Raiders. And whatever group loses, I'm going to want the Lions, right? So wildcard teams lose. Okay, I'm all in on the Lions winning games. If those bottom feeders start to win a couple games, and it's like, whoa, the Lions can actually still get fourth
Like
overall.
the Houstons and the Carolinas and the Raiders of the world.
Exactly. So I'm kind of in a great spot right now where it's like, okay, I can talk myself into stupidly, being
In the hunt.
In the hunt. That's all I want. And then I can talk myself into a top 5 pick, in turn, one of those stud, potentially quarterbacks, right? And then Jameson Williams. Good job, J-Mo.
Okay, we have some hot Lions analysis. Would you like to introduce that now?
Yeah, before we wrap up, I talked to my buddies at school, just said talking Lions, and I just shot him a text. I'm like, hey man, talking about the Lions, thoughts? And he's like, looks like you covered the important stuff, so I appreciate that. This is Adam, my boy. I'm just going to, he's going to have to come on because he's a big fan. This is from my buddy.
Verbatim. Let's go.
This I just screenshot. Possibly discuss the Lions play calling on 3rd and short in situations specifically after half in the 4th quarter when we are either in the game or leading. I think it's really important to look at because we constantly fall short in terms of getting out to a good lead due to terrible play calling. That's a fact. This is facts. For example, this is like he was, I don't know, maybe watching tape. We have a 3rd and 1, and instead of doing something different to catch the defense off guard, we try to run between the guard and the center and never get it.
A-gap.
I'd say, in short, the predictability of the Lions at times. Which is a really good take because we can predict a fair amount of Lions play calls.
Oh, absolutely. We're sitting there watching 3 games at the same time. The Lions, if you have 3rd and 1, play action. Goff's going to throw it out of bounds. Oh, going to run right up the middle, stopped for a loss of 1.
Yeah, it's...
And the thing is, the problem is, when you run those plays and you're stopped for a loss of 1, 1.5, 4th and 1 now becomes 4th and a long 2.
I know, yes.
We go for those, so we don't get them so much.
Yeah, so Lions, very fun. Hutch Masterclass. Future is bright. They're not making the playoffs, but they're currently in the hunt. I have no further comments on the Lions, with all due respect.
Okay, me too. Okay. I think it's time to talk about NBA.
Yes.
Okay, so the NBA, since about the 80s, has marketed themselves on their stars. On their players are the ones that go in the commercials, do the interviews, front page of Sports Illustrated, all that kind of stuff. So what myself and Youngblood, to our fans tonight, are presenting a top 10 all-time favorite from Tal, all-time. Youngblood, top 10 present favorites.
I think that's the 3rd Youngblood drop you have tonight. That's a lot.
It's usually not. It's a good one.
Okay, all right. So, top 10 favorite. This isn't best. This is favorite.
Yep.
On the court and off the court, I mixed in factors, right? Like, it's not just pure people's game.
Yep.
Okay. So, I got some honorable mentions. Do you want to go? You can do some.
I'll do honorable mentions first and you do yours. Okay, so first honorable mention, Isaiah Lord Thomas III from the Detroit Pistons. He was great as a player, and I loved him, and he's fierce, but he did so many bad things, terrible things as an executive in Toronto and New York. He got bumped from my list. Now, to show you how bad he was, he would have been in top 2 or top 3 all-time favorite players. So, Isaiah, give you credit. One of the toughest little guys ever. You brought us a couple of championships. Don't be such an asshat. Another all-time great player. I enjoyed watching him play. But Michael Jordan, I cheered for you because you were amazing, but I hated you because of what you did to the Pistons, and you acted a little bit like a suck.
Okay, facts. Yeah.
Now, a couple other fun favorite guys that I really enjoyed watching, and it wasn't just me, everybody. Muggsy Bogues, Spud Webb. Like, Spud Webb won the slam dunk contest.
Dude, if Spud Webb was in the NBA now, it would be like the LeBron media coverage times 10 because he's a little. It would be unbelievable.
I agree.
Okay, what else? More honorable mentions.
Okay, that's it for honorable mentions.
Okay.
I could have gone a ton. I just wanted to keep it to 4.
Okay, I've got... First, this is just the... Stop looking at the list, man. I got this young tier of guys that I want to see more of, but I like a lot. Jonathan Kuminga, my guy. Herb Jones, my guy. Jalen Duren, my buddy, because he's my age. And then Alperen...
No, he's younger than you.
A little older. Alperen Sengun, the Houston center, who's drafted.
Oh, yeah.
I like Sengun's game a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Real honorable mentions, Porzingis, Steven Adams, Bobby Portis, Darius Garland. Super likable dudes.
Yeah, good ones.
Right in the playoffs, Bobby Portis is going to sneak into the top 10. I like Garland a lot. Adams is the nicest dude out there. And I've loved Porzingis since he was a rookie.
Yeah.
So that
He's
would
actually
be
made a bit of comeback. He lost a lot of
Dude,
juice.
he put that beard on, like Drago.
Yeah, we were watching him. He put on the beard and he got tougher.
Yeah, he got stronger.
Looked tougher. Did some push-ups. He got tougher.
Maybe ran up some mountains, pumped some roids like Drago. Okay, number 10, what do you have?
Vinny, the Microwave Johnson, Detroit Pistons, came in off the bench hot. His other name was the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't know if you knew that. Just because his shoulders, the truck, and he was from Brooklyn. He also hit perhaps the biggest shot in Pistons history, the 007 against the Portland Trail Blazers to beat them.
So that's another nickname there. 007 he was called.
007 was called for a little bit as well.
I remember that. My 10, honestly, I printed this page before I watched the first half of the Grizzlies game. I've Jaw at 10. Jaw at 24 points and 3 steals at half. I want to put Jaw at like 6.
Yeah.
Man, he's so entertaining. I really like the Grizzlies. You'll see there is some bias with teams that I am rooting for.
Sure.
Jaw's got a fair amount of haters out there.
Why does he have haters?
He does a little too much dancing, and sometimes he's a little confident. But I don't, like, other than the dancing, the confidence thing where it's like Booker has this stupid confidence, but Jaw is the same thing, and then people just clown Jaw. I like Jaw a lot, and I really look forward to watching him in the playoffs.
Agreed.
Okay.
Number 9, I've got the original Gary Payton. The glove was a defensive marvel, and he was a trash-talking all-star. He was good. This is when, in the 70s and 80s, there was not a ton of defense played. Like, it was a different game. But him and Kemp did a lot of fun things on the court. And I like the fact that there's now a Payton who's playing in the NBA today. But Gary Payton was a lot of fun to watch. He was one of my faves.
I think I would have loved Gary Payton.
Yeah.
I really think, because I like his kid so much. Right?
Yeah.
Number 9, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He's the best Canadian in the NBA right now. I don't think he'll be better than Steve Nash all time. I don't think. Because I have Steve Nash pretty high all time.
Steve Nash won 2 MVPs.
Over Kobe, yeah.
Yeah, now there was debate about system MVP. So what? He still won them.
Shea's great. He is approaching superstar level. He's averaging like 33 a game, 34 a game. And people aren't realizing that, and B, Vegas isn't realizing it either. Because every game they set his over-under at like 28 points. And it's just free money. Like if you that's what I've honestly made a fair amount, betting $10, $15 every time Shea plays, and I double my money because Shea is just scoring. Now Tal has left the scene here. I'm not totally sure why.
Coming back in.
So hopefully he comes back relatively quickly, and
I've
then
come back.
Okay.
With number 8, Detroit basketball. Ben Wallace bobblehead here. Ben was a fun person to cheer for. Right, he played at some AA school,
Virginia Union University. That's a pretty good call for
That's
a kid who didn't
very
watch.
good call.
Okay, thanks.
Again, he was part of the sign and trade with Grant Hill. Right, they traded Grant to Orlando. Obviously, he had a hex put upon him, and he had foot problems for 3 years. He finished his career well, but he lost a lot of karma by leaving the Pistons. But Ben, He brought hustle and determination, could guard anybody on the floor. He epitomized Detroit basketball. Big Ben, you're number 8. Plus, he brought us Cade with the number 1 pick.
Yeah, people.
That was big.
Yeah,
Underrated.
Ben Wallace, that's a really good call. I honestly, if I was doing all time, I probably would have had him higher. Ben Wallace is awesome. He's so much fun to watch. If you watch him guard Shaq in that finals,
Oh, so much fun.
spend 5 minutes on YouTube and watch that. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's actually unbelievable. Number 8, I have Klay Thompson here. I don't need to explain this. I'm rooting for him so much.
Everybody's rooting for him.
Out of dudes that I'd want to have a beer with in the NBA, Klay might be one. I think he's the coolest dude. He's so chill.
Yeah.
Or go on a boat. For sure, I want to go on the boat with him
Or
and just vibe.
bike ride.
Sure, down. Love Klay, and I'm rooting for him.
Good pull.
And I don't like to see him miss shots. I hope he gets there.
Okay. The game that brought college basketball to light. Do you know which game that was?
No.
That was the Indiana State,
Is this
Michigan
Bird Magic?
State game. Yeah.
Okay.
Bird, you're not on my list.
I was gonna say.
Magic, you are on my
Oh,
list.
it's so nice, so positive of
Yeah,
you.
so positive of me. Showtime Lakers brought the NBA into your living room. They were so much fun to watch. Him like dribbling down the court, a 6'9" point guard. That was just historic at that point. People just couldn't wrap their heads around it. But Magic Johnson, he made the NBA fun. He really did.
He played a large part of. You kind of talked about how in the '80s, like it rose to
Oh,
star level. Magic and Bird were a big part of that,
I
right?
think you know this, or maybe you don't. In '80, when Bird and Johnson were playing in the NBA Finals.
NBA Finals in 1980?
NBA Finals, or was it '81? No, I think the NCAA was '79.
You might be right.
NBA was '80.
You might be right.
That game was not telecast live. It was telecast on tape delay. That's how unpopular
And then
the
they
league
stopped
was.
tape delay after that?
And then they started doing it live after that.
That's not, where is that? Like, that's Dr. J, I think. Well, like, if Dr. J played in the heyday of the NBA, either now or in the kind of the
Oh,
mid-80s.
Dr. J would be a freak right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dr. J, number 7, I have Zion in terms of just awesome dunkers.
Yep, fun.
Zion is so likable. I've watched him, honestly, forever. He was one of those guys where it's like
We watched him when he was 14.
his grade 8 and grade 9 tapes of him just dunking on kids like 2 feet shorter than him were kind of like, who is this guy? And I do really like the Pelicans. He's such a nice guy, so smiley. I like his interviews a lot. Zion's the man. Rooting for you. Stay healthy, buddy.
Okay, agreed. Number 6, I did pull one current NBA player to add the list.
Steph?
Because he's one of my all-time favorites. Did you say?
Steph?
Yeah, Steph Curry.
Okay.
Oh my God. How entertaining is it to watch him run around screen, pop, screen, pop, like crazy. Talk about somebody who changed the game. So much fun to watch then, so much fun to watch now. Steph Curry, you're number 6, all time.
No comment. I'll talk about him later. Number 5, Giannis. I thought
Yeah.
you would have Giannis. If you're going to have a current player.
Giannis got some votes.
Okay. He did, but like not first ballot.
Nope, not first ballot.
Okay.
Strong second ballot.
Shout out Coach Rob. Coach Rob is maybe
Huge
the biggest
Bucks
Giannis fan I
fan.
know.
Yep.
Giannis is just great for basketball, and I just want to say, you guys got to appreciate him while he's here, because he's one of those dudes.
We should get a gift for Coach Rob.
Yeah, we should.
Just to get him something nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
like a Giannis thing.
A Giannis thing.
He's going to retire one day out of nowhere. I really do fear that. He has made some comments. where
Giannis?
He has said, like, soon I might just want to be with my family and my kids. Like,
I see that.
because he's such a different superstar. We've never had anyone like him.
Yep.
And I am
Humble,
afraid.
works super hard. He could decide, I'm 30. I've won 3 championships. I've won 3 MVPs. And now my kids need me to play Scrabble with them.
That might happen, right? Like, there's a couple guys where it's like, if Steph retired today, I would be surprised, right? Like, if I'm trying to, guys in their prime right now, who is in their prime right now? That's kind of on that. You know, there's not many.
It's a bit different.
Jokic, Embiid. No, I'm thinking like great superstars right now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If one of those dudes retired, I'd be shocked. But if Giannis retired, I'd be very upset. But I'd be like, he's a different guy.
He's been telling us that for a while.
So I love Giannis. He's just so much fun to watch. Hopefully, I'll watch him in Detroit this year.
Okay. Number 5, Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight film. That's a pretty good nickname, too. So much fun watching him dunk over Larry Bird. He was, like, again, another one of those guys in the mid to late 80s who helped raise the popularity of the game a ton. What are you doing the McLovin shirt for?
It's just so funny. McLovin's great. That's all I
McLovin's
have.
pretty great.
Okay.
Human highlight film. Number 5.
Sweet. Number 4, Luka. Luka is the Larry Bird of this generation. Luka's going to be an all-time great. I think he might be the most entertaining player in basketball. I could say that about like 8 guys.
Yep.
Luka's right there. I am seeing him in Detroit confirmed, so that will be cool to watch him just destroy the Pistons in person. Destroy.
Who would they have try and guard him?
Well, Cade checked him a fair amount last year, and Cade actually did pretty good on him.
Because Cade, it's stronger now, and we'll be able to hang with him a little bit.
But Sadiq on it. They're just going to throw different bodies at him.
Doesn't matter.
Does not matter.
He's going to eat up whoever.
He will get to his spots, and he'll get anyone he wants on him, and he will score. Or kick it out to wide open Tim Hardaway. Good. Number 4, Luka.
Okay. So a lot of character made a difference in my team. And what I tried to do is I tried to think of people that I really enjoyed watching play, who brought me pleasure. Now the character thing comes into play, especially for my top 3. So what I had to think of was obviously heavily influenced by the Detroit Pistons. Number 4 guy was, as a Detroit Piston, so much fun to watch, had such an amazing impact on the game, could guard anybody on the floor. Dennis Rodman, who I know you're surprised at, but I was trying to think about people that I enjoyed watching when he was a Piston. Like, he was a freak. Like, people could not wrap their heads around 0 points, 23 rebounds. Think about that. That's amazing. He would guard anybody. Like, I remember them playing the Knicks in the playoffs, and Pat Ewing was eating him up for lunch, and Rodman convinced Chuck Daly to let him guard him, and he did okay against him.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
That's good stuff.
Unfortunately, he just became too much of a freak, and so I didn't enjoy him later. But his Pistons time up until the very end of the Pistons,
yes,
super enjoyable, and that's who gets number 4.
We can blame the Spurs for his downfall, because it was right as on his way out of Detroit into San Antonio pink hair era is when he started going nuts.
Which is odd, because really the Spurs, one of the most stable franchises ever.
Yeah, I think that was a little before they'd established their culture.
I agree. Okay. Yeah.
I realized the numbers were off. You were ahead of me, and then we ended up in the same... I skipped my number 6, so I'll go on him now. Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man.
Oh, yeah.
I skipped Ant-Man. He would be higher for...
He's taking a bit of a dip this year.
I have 2 reasons. One, the Timberwolves, I don't enjoy watching. I don't enjoy watching Gobert and Towns. The paint is just clogged.
We enjoy watching the Timberwolves fail.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
I do.
I still want to see Ant-Man in the playoffs. So Ant-Man would be higher if it weren't for the mess and Timberwolves. And I want to say I don't support his bad comments. I'm not saying I just wanted to say I like his game and he's a good personality, but I don't support the bad stuff he has said.
Yep. What about Popeye's Ant-Man?
That's stupid. Towns says he can't eat fried chicken.
You can't say that.
Dude. Towns is a clown. Let Ant-Man eat what he wants and just score 30.
Okay, so am I at number 3? Can I say number 3?
You at 3.
Joe Dumars.
Only 3.
Yep, classy.
Wait, isn't Dennis 3 or Joe? What was
Dennis is 4.
Dennis is 4. Okay, Joe with 3.
Classy, really good defender, clutch performer. The Jordan rules centered on Joe Dumars. The other thing that Joe Dumars, he was a little younger than a lot of the other bad boy Pistons, so he stayed on for a while. Helped mentor guys like Grant Hill. Mentor. Yeah. I don't love, like, Joe's finish in Detroit wasn't spectacular.
Stay positive.
But, again, his time as a player, as an executive, Joe D was the man. When we go to games, he wears Isaiah, I wear Joe D.
Often, yes.
Yep.
Joe Dumars is a really good pull. Number 3, Steph Curry. You talked about him. All I wrote down is if you're a Steph hater, you are wrong.
Who doesn't like Steph?
Mainly LeBron radicalists. Mainly. Where they're just so anti anyone that's not LeBron, and Steph took a couple chips.
I mean, listen, I could see, like, OKC people because Steph beat them.
That's the only way if you hate Steph is if he terrorizes
Houston.
Right? Like, if you acknowledge, like, Steph's awesome, I just hate watching him score 35 on me in the playoffs. I get that. Kind of. Not totally, but I kind of get it.
Going to sleep. But even when he does that stuff, it's not antagonistic.
You're wrong if you don't like Steph. What do you have? Yeah.
Number 2. The big fundamental, Tim Duncan. Again, think about when I was a big fan, got to watch a lot of NBA. He did everything right.
Stop. You don't watch a lot of NBA now?
No, I watch a lot of NBA. But, back then when it was like 15 years ago, 18 years ago, when I started to be able to watch more because there's more stuff on TV. Obviously a clutch performer. He did it with class. He set up his own charity foundation. Like a lot of my top 3 guys are just guys that have done really, really good things. Tim Duncan, he's that guy.
Okay, my guys have charities too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not as good as my guys' charities.
That's not... Okay, fine. Number 2, Cade Cunningham.
Cade. Yep.
In a couple,
I have an idea who number 1 is.
okay, in a couple of years, Cade will likely be 1. That's just probably going to happen.
Agreed.
I love Cade so much. We've talked about him so much. He's great for Detroit. He's great for the Pistons. He's great for basketball. And speaking of class acts, really good dude.
Yep.
Really good dude.
Absolutely.
And one day, Cade and I will meet. It'll happen. It'll be casual, but we'll meet. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So my number 1, I think you know who it is. Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay, cool.
Best college player, NBA player combined. Plus, he's a great actor. He was in Enter the Dragon. He was in Airplane.
Yeah.
So awesome. He's someone who has pushed tough conversations about race and religion for his entire life. He always has a good take on events. If you haven't, and we've said this on the podcast 3 or 4 times, I know I've said it.
Yeah,
just read his takes on stuff. He's got such amazing things to say. Actually, his biography, might have been an autobiography. That's a really good read. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, thanks for all that you've done for the game and for the world.
Thanks, Kareem.
Thanks, Kareem.
You should have all time. You should have had Bill Russell. I want to call you out.
Oh, I should have had Bill Russell. How did I not have?
I just want to call you out on
Bill
that.
Russell. True.
Because you should have.
Big L.
Yeah.
L.
Common Team Tal Nation.
Yep.
L. Number 1, Jimmy. Won't get into Jimmy. He's been my number 1, honestly, since I started watching basketball when I was like 10, 11. Watching him with the Bulls was awesome.
Yeah.
Watching him in Minnesota was awesome. Watching him in Philly maybe was my favorite because that team was awesome and so entertaining. But like Ben Simmons was good.
What if
they understood what they had and they didn't want to let Jimmy go. It's unfortunate. And I like watching him in Miami. Past 3 years have been great. I don't think the future of Miami basketball with Jimmy will be as great as I had. But Jimmy Butler, good, awesome dude. I love his game. Super, super, super fun. I love Jimmy. He's my 1.
do that?
I have no further comments, respectfully.
Okay, we're 42 minutes in. We're not even going to talk about Brick for Vic.
As we
We'll have to defer that to next episode. Thanks to our fans. Thanks to our people in Windsor, Detroit, Toronto for listening in.
And not in those places. Everywhere else, too.
Everywhere else, too?
Yeah.
Do we have people from outside those places?
I'm sure. There's for sure some Detroit folk. Respect Detroit.
I said Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Windsor,
other
Detroit,
outside
Toronto.
Suburbs, Michigan.
Yep.
We have some fans. Respect.
True. Okay. Christmas is coming up. Buy your swag.
Okay.
Peace out.
Peace, everybody.